everyone, and welcome to the post-game lobby where I'm joined by Stress, Maxlore, and H2K's Vander to help us break down a day of games that has locked in our 6 teams for playoffs. First off, welcome and congratulations, Vander. Fantastic match, I have to say, from you guys. Well, it was really well, like maybe not fantastic, but it was decently played by us, especially early game in both games. Then in second game, it was we throw a bit and we got caught and we didn't punish as much as we could, I think. I don't know what you guys said here in analyst desk. And then first game, I think we also tried to bait Nashor a bit too much and we could just play lanes a bit more. And I think we would close out faster.
Yeah, it looked like you guys struggled a little bit around the Baron, looking at different options there. How much did Ryu being on LeBlanc influence your team? Because he seemed to be doing a lot in this game compared to what we've seen in the last few weeks.
Well, it's Korean LeBlanc, so you have to... you can't let it pass easily. And then I think he's really confident on this champion, so that's... I think like Ryu, if he's confident on his champion, he can play much more, shot call more, and he's much more involved in the game than when he plays those new champs like Talia or something, and then he's not that comfortable. So I think LeBlanc is a good pick for him.
Certainly looks like a lot of decisiveness and a lot of decisive plays. Maxlore, you were watching Jankos for a lot of it. 2 games of Hecarim out of him, but you were talking about maybe Jankos and Hecarim don't exactly fit the same play style. Maybe if you want to elaborate for viewers, because it's something we discussed off camera.
I think Jankos, his playstyle is like the way he played Hecarim. Normally Koreans and just other junglers in general just power farm, build like Sheen and then just farm more. But Jankos was building Mallet and then Boots, and then he like skipped a lot of his camps. He even gave like his whole topside jungle to the Shen, farmed his Wraiths, and then just like went off to go where Forgiven was. So I think it doesn't suit Jankos, the champion. I would say something more like an Elise, where it's like more low eco, you can farm less, but you make way more plays. But I guess that's why Jankos Elise is POC champ.
On top of that, you also said you were not intimidated, but you said that H2K was looking actually very scary, and you might be going up to them, up against them in the playoffs at some point. I
think patch 6.15 with Forgiven on any team is a huge buff, because lane swaps probably do not exist anymore. And Forgiven, and with Vander, of course, is known for just like punishing the lane and going ham. I mean,
Kelty Nami is back.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's just like open bot, you know, something like this.
Yeah, let's talk a bit about Forgiven. Obviously, Vander, we also have a replay for you.
Okay.
We're going to get that up on the screen in just a second. I hope, because it's a very beautiful moment.
That's not the replay we wanted.
Well, maybe it's probably behind that. But we wanted to just take a look at some moves from Forgiving in this. Obviously, Vander, how has it been for you? How has it been for you, obviously, having to now kind of emergency sub in Forgiven and play with him here?
Well, it's for sure different. I had to speak up much more because Freeze is more like self-sufficient, and he also is more involved in our communication lately. So it worked for us well in scrims with Freeze, and then transitioning with Forgiven, I had to like step up more, which wasn't a big deal, a big problem for me. And I mean, the champion was a bit different because he likes to play Tristana, for example.
Which is interesting, because he's not the only Tristana player we've seen today.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we actually, believe it or not, saw it in...
Kobe played it.
Yeah, Kobe played it. Could you maybe, either of you, whichever feels more comfortable on this, talk about maybe why Tristana is coming in? Vander, I expect you may have a little bit more. Max is already pointing over you.
I mean, Tristana was always really good into Kog'Maw matchup because she can force all-ins on him, and she can jump on him and probably out-damage him, as far as I know. So I think it was just more as a counter pick in the Origin Splice matchup. And for us, like against Sivir, she's not that powerful because Sivir can always block her E, no matter when you put it. But it worked for us because we knew it's like decent into GP, and we knew that they can't punish Tristana in any way early mid game, so she will go to late game pretty smooth.
And Forgiven also earned the player of the game in this one. Actually, it was also close for game 1 because he had some fantastic plays on Lucian, but here he got it as well. And I hope we can take a look at that replay now. Because it was a very emotional moment between Vander and Forgiven. I'm gonna keep. It's just gonna come up when we're not talking about it. Yeah, but anyway, of course, this is the million-dollar question. How has it been between you and Forgiven? Of course, we all remember the tweets, this and that. How much of that is banter? How much of that do you kind of just have to toss over when he's back?
I mean, some of this was banter, and I think between me and Forgiven, it's fine.
talked together and we put everything behind, so no hard feelings anymore.
Are you implying between someone else and Forgiven and isn't fine?
There we go.
No.
Nah, beautiful. How much did probably pay you for that hug? Just kidding.
Dinner is on him tonight.
Dinner is on him tonight. On that, do you have any insight into how Freeze is feeling? Yeah, we get the replay as well.
Not this side.
Do you have any insight into how Freeze is feeling? Obviously, it must be hard for him. He tweeted, I'm watching all this and I really want to play League. How is he kind of slotting into practice? We saw him also talking in between the games and putting in his 2 cents.
Well, I'm really sad for this guy, for Freeze, because every time I see his hand, it's a glove, and he like does everything. He wakes up 8 AM every morning, goes to sport physiotherapist, and every time he takes the glove off, like his hand is whole red. So it's not going well for him, and I hope he will recover as soon as possible.
Yeah,
and I wish the best for him, obviously.
Yeah, we all hope the same thing as well. Take care there, Freeze, and everyone else who's suffering from these problems, because it seems to be emerging more and more. We do also want to take a look at some other matches of the day that you guys might not have caught. G2 versus Vitality was a 1-1 in the end, and Sean's had a very interesting thing to say on Twitter. He said, "We put up a good fight against G2 Esports, but this was preparation for Schalke tomorrow." Now, guys, Vitality at the point that this match was played still had a chance to make it into playoffs. What do you make of Sean's then tweeting, "Oh well, you know, the important thing is really tomorrow, Schalke"? Max?
I mean, it was pretty impressive that they beat G2. But yeah, I like the bold words coming out from Sean's there, striking fear into the hearts of Schalke.
There's the banter between Julius and everyone he plays against again. Well, yeah, it's impressive they put 1 point against G2. I mean, they were worst team in my opinion, but they managed to get this point, so it's good for them. And I guess they were realistic, going for 7th place. So good luck to them.
Well, we'll see in their matchup tomorrow. Obviously, the Schalke Vitality matchup. Anybody looking at the schedule sees that and thinks, okay, well, that is definitely a hype matchup. Now it's definitely for 7th. Max, you guys gave Schalke a point to stick around, perhaps. Might have been a very difficult time for Schalke if they hadn't have picked that up. Would have needed the 2-0.
Max kicked OG out of World Championship contention.
It was a tactical defeat. I'm going to put that out there.
Yeah, because obviously OG now loses all their championship points, and that means that you guys could possibly still make it on points. However, as you brought up before, Fnatic is also in that race, and so they had a 1-on-1 versus Roccat today. I don't know if you guys caught this, but Fnatic subbed in Werlip for the 2nd game, and they lost in the end.
Well, I think Kikis is between Kikis and Werlip is really big gap in my opinion. So if they put Werlip to play, I think they have to count in that the top lane will not be the same.
Okay. Max, you were also saying how in scrims and such.
I think Kikis is more like with the difference in they play as it's shown on stage. It feels like with Kikis they know what to do more, and that could be because Kikis' communication is better than Werlip's, or it could be that Fnatic is just more comfortable with Kikis in the team, or maybe Kikis just brings good vibes, you know?
Good vibes.
Yeah, just like it's got a positive, positive atmosphere, never giving up.
Actually, he told me that he does it. That when someone screws up, he's like, no, it didn't matter, guys. We can still win.
It's fine, guys. We can still play, guys.
We can still
Don't pause.
Certainly gives a different edge to Fnatic than we've seen. As you guys said, I'm not really sure exactly how Werlip fits in and whether this was just a trial run before playoffs. To me, I don't know whether the champ pool or anything like that, the playstyle between Werlip and Kikis is that different that it affects the entirety of Fnatic. Obviously, there's the Jax that Werlip always is going to have that maybe Kikis isn't quite as proficient on, but I mean, maybe they're testing before best of fives. Maybe Fnatic just looking for different options. Yeah,
looking for different options. However, it could be very important to get 3rd place, because now H2K, with that win, UOL, we're going to see the standings in just a second, is now 6th. That means that you guys can both still get 3rd place, and that's very important for the first match you play, because 4 plays 5 and 3 plays 6.
Yep.
So if I were Fnatic, I'd want to play the best, no?
I mean, I think all teams that are in playoffs between 3 and 6, I think all teams have their strengths and weaknesses as a team. Like you can say that the way Unicorns play around mid is really strong, or the H2K with their new bot lane is going to go ham in playoffs. But the thing is, to be honest, I would I do not want to play against H2K just because it's that unknown factor of not knowing how good H2K is. Like
Tristana.
I know how good Fnatic is and Unicorns is, but I still haven't got a grasp of how good H2K is with Forgiven compared to Freeze. So I would rather avoid them.
Interestingly.
Well, I have to agree that it doesn't really matter if you're third or sixth, but the biggest like plus advantage for being third is that you don't meet G2 on the second round. I think that's the biggest thing. And if you are sixth, you will meet them no matter what if you win. So I think G2 is a bit better than Splice, especially individually. And if they will like step up a bit more their like team play or like not getting caught by their top laner, so then they will be better than Splice.
How do you think the new patch might influence Splice, who seem to be on top of the macro game now? Or that's what we've seen, and not as much the individual players per se? Do you think the patch might hurt them?
I think Splice's bot lane is pretty good, Kobe and Mickey. And their jungler has started to play more. Before, I think at the start of the split, he played a lot around Wander, but now Wander's like playing Shen now, and then they're just diving bot lane, and Senkux is playing Talia and he's going bot. And then there are those games where they play like Castin and Fiora top, and even then just Rek'Sai is still bot lane or something. So I think it won't affect them that much because they are a strong lane. I think it will affect the other teams more.
Yeah, I think Fnatic will probably suffer the most from this patch because they are more like the smart team, I feel, especially Yellowstar, and then their laning phase on bot lane was a bit shaky lately. They could obviously improve it for playoffs, but I think it's the not Fnatic patch that is coming.
I think the interesting thing when looking at Splice and the new patch, I agree with the points you guys have made, but also that Splice's strengths we've seen come later into the game. They're not always dominating the early game off lane swaps and that kind of thing, but they're showing really good prowess with 1-3-1 as the map opens up. And I think if that strength maintains through the patch, which nothing we've really seen indicates going against that too much, I think they're still a dangerous team.
Yeah, we will see what happens. And you, speaking of Yellowstar, earlier in the show we asked which team our viewers thought would do the best in the playoffs and why. And that Zayan thinks Fnatic are going to kill it in playoffs. Kiki is reinvigorating them. And well, Yellowstar in playoffs, ? Enough said. Now that's opens up a bit of a broader discussion about the big return of Yellowstar to Fnatic, because we've had some question marks. It hasn't been as kind of fantastic as maybe Fnatic themselves had expected. Vander, what have you made of the dynamic with Yellowstar and Fnatic?
Well, I think he's really experienced player and probably one of the smartest player about how to play the game and what to do in which moment. So it's really valuable person in the team. But on the other hand, I feel like when I watch him playing the lane or sometimes when he has to execute something mechanically, he often doesn't do it well enough. And I'm not saying I'm doing it or others are doing it. It's just I think he's a bit worse in this case. And then obviously in lane you have to be just really reactive, and like someone misses this skill, so you have to go in, hit yours, right? That's how laning phase pretty much works.
Do you think that before, when Yellowstar was obviously over here, before he went over to North America, was his shot calling just so incredibly on point that we kind of didn't see some of those mechanical errors, or has he just decreased over the last 2 seasons?
Well, the meta was a lot different because Alistar, you could always play it, and he was really good Alistar, and he never really like lost lane or anything, and the whole meta topside centric fit them really well because of Huni Reignover, who were by far the best top jungle duo. So I'm not saying he was like bad or anything. He was much better than now, I feel. So I don't know.
I completely agree on the Huni Reignover point. They were crushing everybody in lane, and by the time it ever got to the point where you had to make decisions, it was super easy.
And they were really good in transitioning advantage from top to bot with TPs, and I think Yellowstar was setting up a lot from this, just putting wards and forcing 2v2, even when they were behind, and then just Huni with 2 or 3 kills already, or screening with Rumble Hacker. It was unplayable against them. So.
Yeah, well, we will see what happens to all the teams in playoffs, and let's take a look at the standings as all of those spots are now locked and what the standings look like for now. As said, G2 is in first place for now. Splice can actually still overtake them if they 2-0 tomorrow. Then Fnatic now in third, followed by Giants, H2K, and Unicorns of Love. Schalke and Team Vitality in a duel tomorrow for 7th place, so it'd be in the LCS, and then Origin and Rocket locked in the promotion tournament.
Yeah, lots still to be decided though, and the key one to focus in is going to be that first place race. To clarify for viewers at home, and to go back on something I said earlier, if Splice 2-0 tomorrow and G2 tie, because of the 2-0 match wins, Splyce would jump to first. That's the way it goes. It's number of match wins, then the head-to-head, and if that is all tied, then it is a best-of-1 tiebreaker. So Splyce still have that chance.
Kilius has something to say about that.
But match wins counts as series win, right?
Series win, yeah, series win.
Yeah.
Series win. So, as an example, Giants was in a really good position because you guys kind of under the radar had a lot more 2-0s than any of the teams, and all of the teams that were tying just a couple of weeks ago, all planned.
Yeah, obviously.
Giants win or lose.
Yeah.
Exactly.
There you go. Let's take a look at the championship points because that is also very important for the gentlemen here on the table. Obviously, OG completely loses their championship points, doubling that, and can't make it anymore. Can't make it anymore. Rather than we see HOK, you guys still have 30 points left, and now theoretically 10. Then G2 90, Splyce 70, and they had 0. Fnatic, and that's the one you are looking at. Maxlore saying, well, Fnatic, if they even get the semifinals, they kind of get that point to Worlds on points alone, and you thought it was a bit unfair, but obviously it is because of the unexpected way that the split has gone. Not a lot of people had seen Splyce in the top of the tables, and they are now stealing away some of those points. Not stealing, they rightfully own them. Giants, you guys are also doing well. What else do you make of that, and who do you see it make into Worlds?
I can see, well, I think Fnatic can. There could be an upset with Fnatic because I think they're a bit of a shaky team right now. But most likely, if things go the way they should, I think it'll be G2 or Splyce auto-qualifying. It will be Fnatic qualifying through points, and then it'll be a gauntlet with everyone else.
And?
Well, I hope we'll meet Fnatic in the first round of playoffs, and if we beat them, then we'll have at least same points as them. So it will be a good match for us, and I'm confident we can beat Fnatic. So.
Okay, so if you look at the goals now, if I told you you can win the split, then of course you go, actually then you go to Worlds anyway, so it's irrelevant. Or you can get to Worlds and kind of play that third place match again. Obviously that's kind of what is on your shoulders for H2K, that third place match. It's been now a couple of splits in a row. How are you trying to kind of aim higher?
Well, we are in tough spot right now because of the AD carry position, and I hope we'll just, I don't know really, I don't know what to say, like we'll try our best and we'll see how it goes. I think against Fnatic we have a really good chance, so I would aim to face them as fast as possible and then try to qualify for points.
All right, interesting. We'll see if that happens. And with 1 day of the summer split remaining, let's take a look at the player of the game leaderboard. No big surprises in the top, as Trick is still in first place and Jankos is second though, only 2 points behind him. Knight, Trashy, and Spirit there, a lot of junglers still. And of course, Knight, Maxlore was singing his praises all match long.
Looks like junglers are favorable here.
I was going to say, apart from the Giants win, it's their mid laner that's right up there. What's
only
going on with
junglers
that?
here.
Whatever. I'm just a dog, you know. I just buy Sidestone and I walk around.
Part of the Holy Trinity, Maxlore.
Okay, supports only get MVP if they play Bard.
Yeah, that's actually true.
That's actually, yeah. Well, hadn't really thought about that. I would wonder what the correlation is on that.
Well, Mickey is just really, really good on Bard as well, right? So
Yeah, he is.
he is.
So is this guy, no?
A bit worse, but sometimes I hit it.
If you would give rookie to the split, there was a discussion on Reddit actually. If you rookie to the rookie of the split, Knight or Mickey?
Or me.
Or you? Right? Or you? Or all the others, obviously.
But
But
we have
those
to
seem
choose
to be
now
two
or after
front-runners.
playoffs?
If you would give it now.
I
Making
guess
up
Mickey.
a new one. Mickey, yeah. You as a support,
Yeah.
what is he doing well?
So it's really weird for me, but 2 months ago he was just random guy in solo queue who was playing Poppy support every game, and then everyone was kind of laughing at him, and now he's really good, and props to him. So
Interesting. And you would give it to Knight, of course, or
Yeah,
to
of
yourself.
course. Oh, actually, I'd give it to Knight. Knight's so good.
Korean mid laners.
Yeah, what can you do?
Oh, we saw Ryu was fantastic today as well, and we'll see if anyone makes any big moves on that leaderboard tomorrow when we kick off our final day of the summer split with Schalke versus Vitality, and that is the duel for 7th place, as well as H2K playing Origin, but you guys are still fighting for obviously seeding, but already locked in playoffs, and then G2 versus Fnatic, which will be a cool kind of test for G2 if they want first, and Fnatic obviously needs to win that one, so quite interesting.
Really interesting matchups. That G2 Fnatic, the last game of the regular season, that's going to be a super hype match. If G2 don't get a 2-0, their spot's in danger.
Yeah.
I think it's, unless Spirit will go off, then I think it's G2 favorites.
G2 favorites.
Or if Willip comes in. Kikis' record, by the way, Kikis' record right now is still the same for this split. Every time he gets subbed out from game 1 and then a new top laner comes in, they lose the game after.
He's like, excellent.
So teams just don't sub Kikis out after game 1.
No. What else was I going to say? Damn
There's
it.
a lot in the prompter if you...
There is! But no. There was something more... Yeah, whatever. I'm going to let it go. Anyway, before tomorrow's show, QuickShot and the guys will be taking a closer look at all the important matchup as well as our playoff contenders. To join in and ask your questions as the discussion unfolds, tune in live at facebook.com/LOLesports at 11:15 a.m. Central European Time. Always very cool to ask all your questions there. I was going to say, does it really escape me just now? Are you kidding me?
I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead. I'll think of mine.
When will we have botlane matchup stream in EU LCS?
Well, I will tell you that we were trying to do it, but something got in the way.
No
we do
technology.
have the possibility. Are you volunteering to talk about?
About what?
To be like a commentator
Okay.
or a bot center.
Sure.
Okay, so production has a note that that's locked in. Oh, I was going to say tiebreakers.
Right.
There might be some tomorrow as well, so to free up everyone's schedule.
Just keep an open schedule. Keep both browsers open tomorrow
now
as well.
in BO2 it's much harder to have a tiebreaker, so...
Yeah, at least we have that going for us.
Yeah.
Gone are the days of Europe's 3 a.m. Crepo playing Anivia, Froggen playing Blitzcrank, tiebreakers.
Good those times.
No more Oscars.
No, sadly. Anyway, I think it's time to wrap up. We just have some more things to do. League of Legends action is heating up around the world in just a few hours. That is at 9 p.m. Central European Summertime. The NA/LCS continues, kicking off with Counter Logic Gaming taking on Energy. That is in 2 hours and a half, so we'll check that out as well. Will you guys be staying up, or do you guys usually watch some VODs and go to bed?
What time do they play?
9 p.m., so in 2 hours and a half.
Oh, I guess we're still
1
up.
hour and a half.
I mean, it's really early now, so like 7.
Yeah.
I
Cool,
mean,
right? The schedule just ends as you can watch.
Actually, I like
LCS.
to play on the weekends like this, but we have to be third match because first is.
First is too early.
Yes.
Yeah.
I
okay.
saw player camps and there was like a lot of pauses between Fnatic and Sunrise, and just Spirit was laying and yawning a bit. So.
Well, we're helping them fix their sleeping schedules. Obviously, that's the master plan.
I mean,
here.
you know, it's hard because if you play at like 10 p.m. normally, and then we have to jump in next week. So.
yeah, I can't wait to wake up at 9 tomorrow.
Good
It'll
luck.
make a man out of you in the European LCS, Maxlore.
That's
That'll
actually
happen.
true.
Anyway, thank you so much for joining us, guys. Congratulations. Playoff spots also locked in for
Thank you.
H2K. And good luck tomorrow as well.
Thank you very much.
All right, it is time for us to log out for the night. Thank you all. And remember, we'll be back tomorrow at noon Central European Summertime for our coverage of the final day of the European LCS Summer Split. Hope you can join us then. Get some sleep. Good night.